Hello, algebra. We are looking at rational exponents some more. So I want to do these top couple together because I think they are just a little bit more complicated, so to speak. So our first one here, we have the cubed root of x to the ninth, y to the ninth. And we want to simplify it. Now, it does say all variables represent non-negative numbers. So the whole thing I talked about the other day with the if you have a square root, if you know if it's positive or negative, just ignore that, okay? These are saying nothing is a negative, so you don't have to worry about it, which is nice. It's handy. So we have right here a root, an nth root of 3. I'm going to turn that into a power. So x to the 9, y cubed. I'm going to turn that into a power. So this is a 1/3. This is a 1/3. So now I'm going to use my power of a product rule, and I'm going to distribute that 1/3 to both my x and my y. So I've got x to the 9th divided by 3, and then y to the 3 divided by 3. So what's handy about that is that now 9 divided by 3, I know that that's going to be a cubed, and then 3 divided by 3 is going to be a 1. So my final answer is x to the 1, x to the 3, y to the 1. All right, x to the 3, y to the 1. Because I multiplied that out. All right, let's try it with this one now, with our x and our y. I think it takes a little while to get used to this because it's kind of weird. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to use my power product rule. So I get x squared to the 4th, then y to the 1/2 to the 4th. And I'm going to turn this guy into y to the 1/3 cubed. All right. I just turn that into a root right there. Or actually, I'll do it this way because this might make more sense. Y cubed to the 1/3. So that guy just came to the outside. So now I'm going to do a power of power. So I get x squared times 4. So that gets me x to the 8th. Y to the 1/2 times 4. So that would be y to the 4 divided by 2. So that's really y squared. So we've got x to the 8th, y squared. And then this one would be y to the 3 times 1/3. So that'd be y to the 3/3. So that's really y to the 1. Hey, I've got like terms here. They're both y's. So this is really x to the 8th. I add these together, right? So y to the 2 plus 1. So that'd be y to the 3. Because I need to add those two together. Ran out a little bit of room. All right, so for this one, I'm going to turn this into a power first. So this goes x to the 4, y to the 12 to the 1/4. Now I've got a power of a product. So I've got x to the 4th to the 1/4, and then y to the 12 to the 1/4. So I'm just distributing that power. Now I need to multiply these together. So I get x to the 4/4. This is really 4/1. This is 12/1. So this would be y to the 12/4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So this is x to the 1, y to the 3. All right, I want to do one more with you, and then I want you to practice some of these on your own. And I'm going to do... There we go. I'm going to do this one down here with you, okay? Yeah. So I've got 81 over 169, all raised to the 1/2 power. Now we know that that is a root. I'm going to choose to distribute my power of a quotient. So 81 to the 1/2 over 169 to the 1/2. Now 81, I gave you this handy dandy table the other day. And I really want you to use it, okay? Use it. This has a 2 for its denominator for our exponent. So that means we're looking at things that are squared. So find 81 on there. Right there, right? So that means it's really 9 squared. So this is really 9 squared to the 1/2 power. Hey, 169, it's not on there. Hint, hint. 13 squared is 169. So this is over 13 squared to the 1/2 power. So that means I really have 9 squared to the 1/2. So that's really, I multiply those together, right? So I get 2 times 1/2. And then 13 squared times 1/2. Well, that'd be really 9 to 2 over 2. And 13 to 2 over 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this is really 9 over 13. Oh, and you couldn't see that. So I was trying to show you the table. Okay, I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. You can always pause. Okay, let me do that another one, since that was a little bit of a failure there. I'm going to do this one over here. So we have 8 over 27 to the 2/3. That means that I really have, I'm going to rewrite my 8 here. Yeah. My 8, if I look in my table, 8 is on here a couple different times. Oh, no, it's not. It's on here once. It's 2 cubed raised to the 2/3 power. And then 27. There we go. 27 is on here only once. It is 3 to the 3rd power. So now I'm going to distribute my 2/3. So I get 2 to the 3 to the 2/3 power over 3 to the 3rd power to the 2/3 power. Now I know I need to multiply these, right? So I'm going to have 3 over 1 times 2 over 3. And 3 to the 3rd over 1 times 2 to the 3. So I'm multiplying straight across. So I get 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 3. So I have 2 to the 6 over 3 over 3 to the 6 over 3. Well, wait a second. 6 divided by 3, that's just 2. So I have 2 squared. And then 6 divided by 3 we said was 2, so this is 3 squared. So we are left with 4 over 9. Because 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. All right, I would encourage you to try a couple more of these. This page is some really good practice as well, right? It's some really good practice as well. In fact, I'm going to do these 2 with you because I think they're really good. So this is a square root, right? There is a 2 in there. FYI, there is a 2 in there. So 64, we know that that's going to be 8 and 8, but because it's a negative 8 times a negative 8. Ooh, no, it's not. One of them would be negative, right? One of them would be negative. So we'd have negative 8 times a positive 8, that gets us negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative times a positive is a negative. Now, what number can we remove from this? And this is where it gets tricky. We can't remove any of them. One's a negative 8 and the other one's a positive 8. These are not the same. So we cannot simplify now. When you get into Algebra 2 especially, you'll start learning about what we do when we have square roots of negative numbers. All right. But for now, I'm just going to tell you, can't simplify it. We don't know how to yet. We cannot simplify it. They are not the same. So with this one, we have a negative square root of a 64. Well, 64 we just said was 8 times 8. So when we take the square root of that, we get 8 out, and we end up with negative 8. This is fine because the negative is not inside, right? Because negative is not inside. All right, I'm going to do this one with you guys next. So I'm going to start with the inside and work my way out. Start with the inside, right? Parentheses, and work your way out. So x to the 5th, y to the 10th. This is a root of 1/5. And then it's being squared on top of that. I know that looks really complicated, but we can get through this. So I need to distribute that 1/5 to both of these. So I get x to the 5 times 1/5 over y to the 10th times 1/5. And that all is being squared. Well, 5 to the 1/5 is really just x, right? Because it's 5 divided by 5. So that's 1. And then y to the 10 times 1/5 is really 10 over 5. Sorry, that's hard to read. My pencil's not liking me writing small. And then that's all being squared. So this is really x squared over, x over y squared being raised to the 2 power. So this is really, we distribute that 2, we get x squared over y to the 2 times 2, so that's x squared over y to the 4th. Not the prettiest, sorry. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Yeah, most of these are just practicing and trying them out. And some of them we'll do during our Meet Live too. So email me if you have any questions. I am happy to help.